The film kicks off with an exhilarating car chase sequence that immediately grabs your attention. Reminiscent of the opening scene in Baby Driver by Edgar Wright, we're introduced to Eun-ha, who serves as a getaway driver for a sleazy local gangster. This small-time criminal seems to have crossed the wrong people, and he's now on the run with pursuers hot on his tail. The chase takes us from the highways onto the narrow, winding alleyways of the city at night. Eun-ha finds herself surrounded and pursued by multiple vehicles, making her escape increasingly challenging. However, even in the trickiest situations, she remains remarkably calm and composed, making split-second decisions that defy logic but work in her favor. There's a particularly intense moment where her passengers are panicking, the pursuers are closing in, but Eun-ha coolly sips her beverage while performing a mind-bending mid-air maneuver with the car. She masterfully loses the tailing vehicles in the cramped side streets of the Korean capital, tossing her big-headed passengers around like rag dolls, but ultimately getting them to their destination at Daesungport safely and on time. Upon arrival, the misogynistic gangster, impressed by Eun-ha's skills, he starts to brag, saying he'd never hired a woman for anything more prestigious than selling liquor, but wants to offer her a job. However, Eun-ha is not interested and takes her money, leaving without further discussion. The next morning, we get to know more about this remarkable young woman named Jung Eun-ha. Eun-ha is a former North Korean defector who was rescued by Baek Kang-kil when she was just a child, fleeing from North to South Korea. Eun-ha is portrayed as a skilled, brave, tough, and responsible driver. She works for a unique special delivery company owned by her rescuer and father figure Baek Kang. This firm operates like a junkyard but specializes in rather unconventional deliveries, such as transporting stolen goods and dangerous cargo, serving as a getaway driver for criminals, and ferrying people on the run from authorities. Despite her odd mannerisms at times, Eun-ha has cultivated an impressive reputation and makes a lucrative living in this shady profession. Her driving talents are unparalleled, and she prides herself on punctuality and professionalism when carrying out these high-stakes jobs. The company's underground operations allow Eun-ha to utilize her incredible driving abilities to the fullest, while navigating the seedy underbelly of society. Her unique background and skills have carved out an unlikely but lucrative career path. Not long after her previous high-stakes job, Eun-ha's boss at the special delivery company receives another precarious assignment, and it's suddenly handed to her. Her new mission is to pick up and transport a client named Kim Do-shik and his 8-year-old son Kim Seo-won to Pyeongtaek Port. Kim Do-shik is a former baseball player who became entangled in the shady world of sports gambling trade. After his name was exposed by the media for his involvement in a match-fixing scandal, he stole a security key from his boss, the gambling kingpin Jo Kyung-pil. This key unlocks access to a bank account holding a staggering $30 million. Adding to the complexity, Jo Kyung-pil is revealed to be a corrupt police officer who has used his position to run an illegal gambling den behind the scenes. With his illegal activities now public, Kim Do-shik hopes to escape the country with his son and start a new life abroad using the stolen funds. They create new fake identities and call upon the special delivery service, known for its reputation for helping people on the run flee the country undetected. The special delivery service swiftly springs into action, meticulously planning the high-stakes pickup and transport. Although Eun has to make her way to Seoul for this job, her initial role is straightforward: wait outside the baseball stadium for her 2 clients before picking them up and delivering them safely to their destination. The lucrative payout awaiting her upon successful completion serves as extra motivation. After the delivery plan is finalized, Eun heads to Seoul. That night, while Kim Do-shik and his son wait in a remote area for their driver, they hear approaching car noises. Thinking it's their ride, Kim steps outside to signal the pickup. But to his horror, he realizes it's actually multiple vehicles carrying his former boss Jo Kyung-pil and his henchmen. They've tracked him down, determined to retrieve the $30 million he stole. Acting quickly, Kim runs back to his son, stuffs a backpack with the stolen money and security key, and instructs the boy to escape through a window. He tells his son to run towards the nearby baseball stadium entrance, where a getaway car will be waiting for him. While the son flees, Kim Do-shik stays behind to buy him time, getting brutally beaten by Jo Kyung-pil and his goons as others frantically search for the boy carrying their illicit fortune. While Eun-ha waits at the pickup point for her client and his son, she spots a young boy frantically running towards her car, instantly sensing that something has gone wrong. At first, she considers aborting the mission and leaving the spot as soon as possible without the kid. But, out of compassion, she decides to let the boy get into her car. This split-second decision soon leads them to be pursued by a relentless group of gangsters. Meanwhile, Kim Do-shik regains consciousness after the beating and sees one of the thugs guarding him. Seizing an opportunity, he grabs a nearby baseball bat and strikes the henchman before making his way toward the stadium entrance, hoping to find his son. When he reaches outside the baseball stadium, he witnesses a standoff between the corrupt officer Jo Kyung-pil and Eun-ha, who now has Kim's son CO1 in her vehicle and desperately trying to escape. To ensure his son's safety, Kim Do-shik strategically makes his way into the middle of the street, dropping a smartwatch on the ground as he runs. He then uses himself as a distraction by standing on the street and throwing the baseball bat he's been holding towards Jo Kyung-pil's car, getting hit in the process. The ploy works. Jo Kyung-pil loses control of the projectile and collides with a parked vehicle. This critical moment provides the narrow window Eun-ha needs to hit the gas and make a frantic getaway with the boy. Kim Do-shik's courageous sacrifice allows his son's escape, but leaves his own fate uncertain in the fiery chaos. After the disastrous failed transport and explosive clash with Jo Kyung-pil's men, Eun-ha finds herself in a precarious situation, unsure what to do next with the young Kim CO1 in her care. She reaches out to her boss Beek for guidance. His instructions are to temporarily leave the boy with one of his shady criminal associates to be dealt with. Despite following those orders initially, Eun-ha's conscience weighs heavily on her. After some reflection, she decides protecting the child's safety is the priority, even if it means taking a much riskier and more difficult path forward. She doubles back to retrieve CO1 from the unknown associate. Meanwhile, Jo Kyung-pil has done some research on the pickup driver Eun-ha and realizes that this is a much bigger problem than he expected. Determined to retrieve his $30 million security key, he begins utilizing his resources and influence as both a cop and a criminal. Jo Kyung-pil's first calculated move is to frame Eun-ha for the alleged murder of Kim Do-shik as well as CO1's kidnapping. With the police manhunt initiated, he aims to regain the upper hand and track down Eun-ha and the boy carrying the key to his illicit riches. Realizing that the car they are driving may be a potential trail, Eun-ha ditches the car she was previously driving and steals a new one to continue their journey while they figure out their next move. However, this stolen vehicle is quickly reported to the authorities, allowing the cunning Jo Kyung-pil to track their general location. As Eun-ha tries to determine their next step, Kim CO1 reveals to her that he has a mother whom he once called but has never met. With this new information, Eun-ha decides their best move is to seek out and reunite the boy with his mother. However, when she finds and explains the dire situation to the woman, Eun-ha is met with a cold response. The mother outright states she has no interest in being a parent or caring for a child. She's also aware of the dangerous people pursuing CO1, making it clear that taking him to her would be an awful idea. With the boy's mother being no help, Eun-ha has no choice but to leave and return to the stolen car, unaware that she's being followed, as Jo Kyung-pil's men have picked up their trail once again. The failed attempt to reunite the boy with his mother leaves Eun-ha back at square one. When she returns to the parking lot, a heated argument erupts between Eun-ha and young CO1. The little boy is simply unable to comprehend how his own mother could so callously reject him and want no part in his life. As their emotions escalate and their guards are down, one of Jo Kyung-pil's elite hitmen catches them by surprise, attacking Eun-ha from behind. Amidst the chaos, CO1 is abducted by the goons while Eun-ha fights off the hitman. She manages to fend him off and runs after the car that took CO1. Utilizing her surroundings, Eun-ha burns her jacket near the fire sprinklers, setting them off and severely impairing the driver's visibility. Her plan works, and the driver hits a building pillar. When the driver attempts to exit, Eun-ha breaks his leg with the car door and takes the car with CO1 in the back seat. Not wasting a moment, she deftly eludes the hitman who is giving chase in another car. Through a combination of guile, skill, and no-holds-barred daring, Eun-ha has once again narrowly rescued CO1 from Jo Kyung-pil's grasp. However, the danger remains, and they are still fugitives on the run with no clear path forward. With nowhere else to turn, she decides to bring the kid back to her boss in Bizen, hoping he can provide guidance. Little do they know, the chase is only getting hotter. The National Intelligence Service has gotten wind of the twisted cat-and-mouse chase unfolding. Chief Han Mi-young, who is leading the investigation, has uncovered a crucial piece of evidence and discovered the true source behind these events. It turns out the real reason why Kim Do-shik left his smartwatch on the ground while running on the day he died was to leave recorded evidence behind. It is revealed that while the corrupt cop Jo Kyung-pil was brutally beating him up, Kim Do-shik was recording the cop as he was viciously assaulting him while demanding his $30 million security key to be handed over. This damning recording could potentially put Kyung-pil behind bars for a long time. Chief Han tracks Kyung-pil's movements as he relentlessly pursues Eun-ha and the boy to Bizen. Upon arriving at the Bizen Special Delivery Company, Eun and his boss quickly gets to work creating fake passports to smuggle young CO1 out of the country. However, while alone finishing CO1's documents, the boss is ambushed and captured by the ruthless Jo Kyung-pil and his gangster thugs. They torture him, demanding to know the whereabouts of Eun-ha and the boy. Under immense pressure, Baek reveals he has what they're after. He has the $30 million security account key. A tense negotiation ensues, with Baek agreeing to hand it over in exchange for everyone walking away unharmed. But in a shocking twist, as he opens his safe, Baek pulls out a shotgun. He manages to gun down a few gangsters before Jo Kyung-pil brutally shoots him down. With the security key finally in his possession, Jo Kyung-pil barks orders to his men to find the boy at all costs. Their search proves successful as young CO1 is discovered hiding and immediately brought before the corrupt cop. Eun-ha's daring plan has gone horribly awry, and now an innocent child is a hostage to Jo Kyung-pil's greed. Sometime later, Eun-ha returns to the delivery company, thinking she's going to bid a safe farewell to CO1 before he's smuggled abroad. But her gut tells her something is wrong when she spots a convoy of vehicles parked in the junkyard. She stealthily makes her way to her boss's office and peers through the window. To her horror, little CO1 has been captured, likely by the vicious Jo Kyung-pil's men. Scanning the room, Eun-ha's eyes are drawn to a gut-wrenching sight, her beloved boss and father figure lying lifeless on the floor. Waves of sadness and disbelief wash over her face as the reality sets in. But the grief quickly hardens into a red-hot rage and a thirst for revenge. Eun-ha musters her resolve and makes her way to the main fuse box. With a few flicks of the switches, she plunges the entire compound into total darkness. Under cover of the blackout, she'll need to draw on all her skills and determination to rescue CO1 and make Jo Kyung-pil pay for the brutal killing of her father figure. The gauntlet has been thrown, it's time to fight back. With the power cut, Eun-ha slips into the room holding Jo Kyung-pil and his men, taking them by surprise in the darkness. She launches a brutal attack, killing the goons one by one while injuring Jo Kyung-pil. In the chaos, she screams for CO1 to run and escape while she battles Jo Kyung-pil's remaining henchmen. Body after body drops until Eun-ha is the only one left standing in the pitch-black room. Just then, the wounded Jo Kyung-pil retrieves his gun and opens fire, forcing Eun-ha to dive through a window to the outside. Her daring escape momentarily successful, Eun-ha commandeers a nearby vehicle and peels out in desperate search of CO1. They need to get as far away as possible before Jo Kyung-pil can regroup. At this point, the net is already tightening. NIS Chief Han Mi-young and her team of officers are rapidly closing in on the location where the violent confrontation between Jo Kyung-pil and Eun-ha is occurring. Eun-ha finally spots CO1 and the terrified boy scrambles into her hijacked vehicle. They peel out, feeling a fleeting moment of hope that they might actually make it out of this nightmarish chase alive. But just as the junkyard's gate comes into view, Jo Kyung-pil emerges like a monster from the shadows, ramming their car with a massive forklift truck. He slams into their vehicle, bringing them to a crashing halt. After the collision, Jo Kyung-pil grabs CO1 at gunpoint, holding him in front of Eun-ha. In a shocking move, he then hurls the poor CO1 off the dock and into the unforgiving waters below before trying to shoot Eun-ha. She manages to close the distance between them, stabbing Jo Kyung-pil in the chest. With her final shove, both Jo Kyung-pil and Eun-ha tumble over the edge and into the waters below. The two crash into the dark sea as the sounds of the approaching NIS team grow louder. Submerged in the inky black depths, Eun-ha frantically searches for CO1, her lungs already burning. She finally locates the boy and tries desperately to pull CO1 up from the depths. But as they start to surface, Jo Kyung-pil grabs Eun-ha's leg and handcuffs himself to her as he yanks them deeper, determined that if he can't escape, they'll all drown together in this watery grave. With no other choice, Eun-ha uses her last bit of strength to forcefully push CO1 upwards, giving him one final chance at life as she's pulled back down into the darkness with her nemesis. By the time Chief Han's NIS team arrives on the scene, there's only a tired young boy bobbing in the dark waters. They rescue the terrified CO1 from the sea. The little one desperately pleads with them to save Eun-ha as she sinks deeper into the sea with her lockpick knife. But with no sign of air bubbles, Chief Han can only look on in grim silence, fearing they may be too late and there's nothing more that can be done. Days later, CO1 is admitted to an orphanage and school where he lives happily surrounded by friends and family. Though safe, the young boy can't help but wonder about the fate of his brave rescuer. One afternoon after school, CO1 misses the school bus, forcing him to make the walk back alone. As he's making his way, a car slowly pulls up alongside him and stops. Curious, he peeks inside but doesn't see a driver. Emerging from behind the vehicle, Eun-ha shows herself as a surprise, revealing that she faked her death to escape being captured by the police. Overwhelmed with joy upon seeing his rescuer, CO1 runs to her and hugs her. They get inside the car together and head first to CO1's orphanage. But Eun-ha soon receives a message about a client requiring her delivery services. With a knowing look, she tells CO1 they need to go to a pickup point first, indicating her work as a courier continues. And that's where the story ends, with the reunited pair driving off into the night on Eun-ha's next covert mission. If you enjoyed riding along on this high-octane thrill ride, do the special delivery runner a favor, smash that like button, and subscribe for more action-packed movie recaps. Until next time, stay riding.